Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. PepperBelly here, bringing you guys some Grand Theft Auto Online gameplay, except it's not very much online since this is a solo mission I ran by myself in an attempt to make some cash monies because I decided not to bother searching for other players, and I was more than capable of handling this mission by myself, and that's pretty much what I ended up doing. Regardless, that is not what I'm going to be talking about today. What I want to talk about today is Grand Theft Auto 5 and the PC. Now, a lot of people out there, including myself, would love to see Grand Theft Auto actually make it to the PC because, well, hello, PC is a vast, superior way of playing video games. PC is the dominant, the PC glorious master race type thing that goes on. Not to put down consoles, but I mean, there's no disputing the fact that PC has amazing architecture and can just absolutely trump consoles any day of the week. And the fact that Rockstar actually managed to complete and achieve what they did with Grand Theft Auto 5 on consoles makes me really think about if they actually spent the time dedicating like an actual really good team and resources into developing a PC version of this. Like, it can be mind-blowingly ridiculous in comparison, like almost on a unmeasurable scale in comparison. Like, it'd be like comparing two different games almost, in the sense of what they can actually accomplish if they just went to town with it and used the full resources of PC architecture. And the more I think about it, the more I really hope that this is what actually ends up happening. I hope they don't just port it over as simply as they did like with the Grand Theft Auto 4. That to me was a huge letdown. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 4 on consoles looked kind of, well, shady. Let's just say that. It didn't look that great. There was a lot of texture pop-ins. Everything was blurry. Resolution wasn't high. Things just looked kind of weird. Like, it just had its own little atmosphere about it that just wasn't very pleasant. And whenever they had Grand Theft Auto 4 come out on PC, it essentially looked the same, just with higher textures and higher resolution and more draw distance. Which, I mean, who really cares, right? That doesn't make a massive difference. And then you see Grand Theft Auto 5 here, which looks significantly better. That whole haziness feeling and low textures and all that stuff isn't very apparent. I mean, when you're looking at roads, when you see rain, when you see your vehicles, when you see certain buildings in certain areas, they look good. It looks good. I mean, it looks appealing to the eye, and you're running around, and sometimes you're just stuck, you're struck in awe just looking at this environment going, holy shit, this is a massive open world game. It looks incredible, and it plays pretty damn smoothly. And the more I think about it, the PC version would just make it like that much better. So things I would actually like to see improve in the PC version, if there ever is a PC version, which they'd be stupid not to, considering there was a petition with over 500,000 signatures of players and people wanting to see this game on the PC. And one of those things would definitely be an increase in actual AI activity. I'm talking about more AI on screen, way more civilians, way more activity going on, a lot more things happening, a lot more life, not so much a ghost town that, Grand Theft Auto 5 somewhat has going on for it. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of civilians, but I mean, when you look at Los Angeles in real life, and then especially if you look at that game trailers videos, which I highly recommend you do, because it looks it's an incredible video, first of all. It shows the comparison of Los Angeles to Los Santos, and when you see Los Angeles, and if you're from Los Angeles and you're watching this video, it's populated as fuck. There's people everywhere. It's crowded. There's lots of people. And the fact that GTA 5 just is incapable of actually being able to fill out like cities, actually populate cities properly, in a sense that they actually look authentic with like people everywhere. They do a good job at doing what they do, but I mean, when you see like barely any traffic on the highways and there's not that much activity going on, when you really pay attention to it, you're like, holy crap, this feels like a ghost town. I feel like I'm all alone in this entire world, which is unfortunate because the environment and the game itself is so full of life, other than the fact that there's not a lot of pedestrians, not a lot going on the side, especially how Rockstar was bragging about, their whole pedestrian new features, essentially, which allow them to have a lot more diversity within pedestrians, so you're not going to see the same one as likely as you would back in the older games, where you would see like the same person like wearing the same shirt right beside somebody else, or they look exactly the same. There's like three twins or some shit. Apparently that's not as apparent, which, to be honest, I've only maybe noticed it once, two people that look the same in the same area, so they did a pretty good job. I mean, just right there, I mean, I can't even tell, because I haven't seen two of the same people that often. So, done. But I mean, if they were able to make it on a much bigger scale, have like way more people, way more activity going on in the actual world, just to make it thrive, make it full of life, it'd be so much better, and I'd fucking be ecstatic to actually be able to play the game over again. I'd be purchasing it without even a second thought. I'd be buying this game again on PC if they released it. Another thing I'd like to see them actually do is online multiplayer. Now, there are issues that are presented with it, what I'm about to basically suggest and talk about, and that's increasing the player cap per server. Now, right now you have 16 player online and per map. Essentially, the way the game works is an MMO. So it's a massive multiplayer online game, but it's like hundreds and hundreds of scenarios or servers running at the same time, and it basically just puts 16 players into those same servers, and then they kind of run around the map, do their own thing, and then if they leave and then join another server, well, it's all real time, so it's not like you're actually manually selecting servers. That's how it's an MMO, in the sense that it feels like you're always interacting with new people, which essentially you are. Every time you finish a mission and you back out, then you're dealing with a whole group of new people that are probably going to want to kill you, or they're going to be nice and let you go about doing your business, get your apartment, you know, not be a dick, that kind of thing. It depends entirely, and I would like to see them actually increase that cap, maybe to 24, 32, even 64 players if they were to put this on PC. The only problem I could see with that is the fact that even with 16 players right now, you have a lot of people shooting you in the back when you least expect it. I mean, you'll kind of just be like, oh, I just finished a mission, I'm going to go do my own thing, and then suddenly some dickhead comes right up behind you and puts like 30 rounds in the back of your fucking head, and, well, it's frustrating because you don't expect it, you don't know where it came from, there's nothing on the map, you may have just gotten back from a mission or something, and it loaded you right near, like, Simeon's freaking car dealership, and there's a guy sitting there waiting for you to come back, because some people do that. Like, I mean, it's happened to me where someone just sits there waiting for someone to spawn back from a mission so they can just basically spawn kill you. It happens, and there's nothing you can really do to avoid it. So, in a sense that adding more players to the server, it would be a hell of a lot more chaotic, which I guess would be kind of neat, would be fun to a degree. I mean, chaos is great, but I mean, if you're trying to get things done simply and, you know, just get things done by yourself without having that much interaction with other players and them just kind of like coming in and fucking up your shit, then essentially having more players could be a bad idea. But on the other hand, having more players allows for that awesome chaotic feeling and all this crazy interaction with other players and a lot more shit going on, you know, more people in aircraft flying around, you know, when you're inside your penthouse or something, you look out, you can see more jets or helicopters flying around, players actually doing shit. There is the option to go solo. There is the option to go offline. So if you want to not have those issues apparent, then you simply just don't have to be online. So to me, it's kind of an equal trade-off. I mean, if you really don't want to have super intense populated, you know, servers with 64 people online running around Los Santos together, then maybe stick with the console version or just go solo if you don't want to be interrupted. But to me, I think PC should definitely unleash its full capabilities by allowing you to actually have massive amounts of players on each server at the same time, running around, blowing shit up, and just doing crazy things, because that's what Grand Theft Auto is all about. Crazy stuff. The next thing I would like to see improve on the PC version, which pretty much goes with what I was talking about earlier in terms of actual performance and hardware and making the game look essentially better, is definitely a complete graphics overhaul. I'm talking more foliage, so like way more trees and bushes and stuff like actual Los Angeles looks like. Just a huge increase in all of that stuff, and just higher fidelity graphics overall. Just make the game look absolutely spectacular. And you can't tell me you can't do this, because when you look at Grand Theft Auto 4 and you see that Icy Enhancer mod or several other mods that basically make the game look fantastic. I actually have Icy Enhancer on my Grand Theft Auto 4 copy on PC. It looks stunning. There's no denying how fucking incredible that looks. I mean, some of the pictures you see are indistinguishable from actual real-life photos. They'll actually show you a picture comparison of New York in real life with actual taxi cabs and vehicles sitting around there, and then you'll see the same kind of general area in Grand Theft Auto 4 using the Icy Enhancer mod, and it's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling when you see that. And if you haven't ever watched or seen anything about it, I highly recommend you go and view it, because you will probably have a giant nerdgasm and your fucking eyes will explode with happiness and giant fucking confetti and rainbows and dandelions, because it's fucking awesome. The game looks amazing. So there's no excuse that a high-budget game, especially a $200 million game to develop, if you were to come out with a PC version and 500,000 people would pay for it, especially me, there's a lot of people that bought the game on console simply because, well, there was no alternative and they don't feel like waiting. So there are those people who would actually even consider repurchasing the game simply just to get a better experience. Unless Rockstar actually develops and makes it a better experience on PC, then they're not going to have major resale value. For those that already completed the game, played it 100%, did everything you could possibly do, and played the shit at GTA Online, what's going to make them want to go and get their hands on the PC version? Simply improving all these aspects, making it look mind-blowing graphically, improve it, the lighting, shadows, everything. Have it so when you're actually driving around a vehicle and you have your high beams on or you have your actual headlights on, it'll cast shadows off of objects in the world. Something simple stuff like that, higher anisotropic filtering, have the roads be rendered out to like infinite distance, you know what I mean, if your computer can handle it. Have these options actually configurable within great detail like PC gamers expect. Do all of these things. Improve the game in every possible aspect you can possibly think of and do. And this game could turn out to be easily the best game port that PC can see ever. If we look at games like Sleeping Dogs and Max Payne 3, they actually developed those for PC and they focused on PC at a high degree compared to like how previous games. You look at Red Dead Redemption, for example, PC version, it never even seen the light of day, and a lot of PC gamers are very frustrated about that, and a lot of them are very scared that GTA 5 will follow the same suit. But hopefully Rockstar knows better and they will release an actual PC version for this game. But when you look at games like Sleeping Dogs and compare it to the console version, having 60 frames per second, having DirectX 11, having super high particle effects, like there's almost no comparison. It almost makes you want to go out and build a $2,000 PC. Well, not a $2,000, but you know what I mean? Like a super expensive computer. Not super expensive, but you know what I'm talking about. Go out and build a gaming computer just to play those games, to see them in such like amazing detail and high fidelity graphics. Damn graphics. That's what it's all about. I'm not just saying PC gaming is all about the graphics, because PC gaming is also about gameplay, and the fact that these hardware can actually allow for more intricate, detailed, technical gameplay, because that's what hardware on PCs allow you to do and utilize if you actually have developers to pull it off within a high degree as they prefer or want to actually do it. So these are some of the things that I would like to see GTA 5 actually complete and do, and hopefully they actually do it, because there's no excuse. There would be no excuse not to be able to actually implement these things into the game. My name's been PepperBelly. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.